I'm with you on that. So let's talk about taking the leap, right? Because entrepreneurship is not easy. Like, that's one of the things that we talk about all the time. It's like, we're not here to sugarcoat it. You know, we're not here to sell nobody no dreams on, like, you know, overnight successes, because we even know with overnight successes, there's hard work and, you know, hours and hours of grinding, you know, dedication that goes into even that, you know, in itself. So I would like to know, kind of like, with you ladies, you both are like really killing it in your industries. Is this where you envisioned yourself, like in the beginning when you first was like, I'm gonna start a business?
Or I'm gonna start a business. So let me tell you guys. Okay. So cooking has always been something I was blessed with. Like, everybody that tastes my food always been like, oh my God, Kleo, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Me, nope, I'm not doing it. I do not want my hair to smell like food. At that time, I don't want to be in the kitchen all the time. I want to cook when I feel like it, type of thing. But not too long ago, about I would say 3 years ago, I was in the process of actually doing one of those New Me type of thing. Yeah. So as we all doing it with my friends, and somehow it ended up turning about Cleo's Kitchen, which was like the beginning of Cleo's Kitchen. So the attention, right? So I'm like, we're supposed to be talking about what each and every single one of us is supposed to be doing right now, but somehow we started with Cleo's Kitchen, and by the grace of God, Cleo's Kitchen just been on from there.
That's awesome.
And it gave me like an opportunity to actually create other businesses that I really wanted to do, real estate.
So are you full-time in Cleo's Kitchen, or do you have a job outside of it?
No, I actually quit my job. Okay, I was in the process of getting my house, so I just hold on to the job for the meantime. But it's been like a good year, almost a year. Yeah, I'm in a full-time entrepreneur for about a year.
Wow, that's lit. That's lit. So you said, just before we jump into you, you said you have the catering. You said you're in real estate.
I just started real estate.
You just started real estate. Okay.
Thank you.
That's dope. Michelle?
Yes, so I feel like my story is a little backwards.
Okay.
Because I did not know what I wanted to do, but I knew the lifestyle that I wanted to do. And I also struggled with finding my purpose, what I want to do, what I'm good at. Growing up, like, I'm like, dang, what I want to do? And all my friends was going off to college, getting degrees in exactly what they want to do. They knew they want to be dentists, doctors, and I'm like, I still don't know what I want to do. So I was like, but I knew the lifestyle that I wanted to live. I knew how I wanted to carry myself. I knew what I wanted to stand for. So I kind of worked backwards.
I like it.
I was working a 9-to-5 at that time, and when I took the leap, I was like, okay, I don't know what I want to do yet, but I know I'm good at this. So I was like, because I have these skills, what can I do?
Yeah.
And when I matched up the skills to the career, which is event planning, I was like, that's it. I do that. I do that for my friends. I do that for my family. I'm really good at it. I have great organization skills. So anybody who's struggling and you don't know what you want to do, but you know, like, oh, I have an entrepreneurship mindset, then you can kind of start identifying yourself and find out what can you be good at, because you know what lifestyle you want to live. You could just kind of make a career out of it.
I like that.
So that's how I kind of like took that leap.
I like that, because that kind of brings me back to what we talked about in the last podcast. Was like, we spoke about, is your current business your first business? And a lot of the times your current business won't be your last business either, because, you know, you can really, like you said, identify the type of lifestyle that you want to have, identify like what you're passionate about, what you're good at, and what you're also tolerant of, right?
Exactly.
Because a lot of the things, a lot of these things we don't think about when we first get into business. Like, we don't think about, okay, yeah, I'm starting a business, but I'm also going to be a salesperson, and I'm also going to be customer service, I'm also going to be in marketing. A lot of the times we really don't think about that. So I love how you said that you were able to work backwards and fall into the industry that you're passionate about. So what type of events do you feel like are your specialties?
I like conferences. I like business events, because I'm coming from the hospitality industry. And what I did over there, I was a group coordinator. So pretty much we coordinated when they had big groups come out to the hotels. I coordinated that. So I felt like that's kind of where I had my background in. So I knew how they ran, how they functioned, how much attention they needed. So I like those type of events. And I feel like they're more professional. Everybody's coming to network and work. They're not here just for fun. So when everybody has that business mindset, it was kind of easier to plan.
You know, I love conferences.
Right. So it's easier to plan. And I love that about conferences. And there's so many breakouts, so many different things you can do in different areas. That's my favorite, but I do wedding planning, party planning. I do all type of planning. I don't limit myself because I do know how to do it all, but my favorite is definitely like conferences, branding, marketing events.
You're amazing at what you did.
Thank you.
What you do. No, for real.
Our work.
Even our last conference, like we're working together on our third conference for CIS, but our last conference, which was our second annual, obviously, right? I'm talking in circles, but you helped out with the decor, and it just looks so amazing. Like all the your attention to details, like very on point. So
it's very
highly recommended.
Thank you so much.
Highly recommended. So a big challenge I've come across just in working with business owners over the years is really like figuring out how to integrate being an entrepreneur into your current lifestyle, especially if you're working a 9-to-5, right? So I know you expressed that at one point in time, you both were working a 9-to-5 and also like working as an entrepreneur. What do you feel like was the biggest shift in your life, right? Once you decided, okay, I'm going to start a business, like what was the biggest change?
That I feel like I'm going to go ahead and start because I feel like I have so much going on. I'm a wife, a mother of 2. I have a dog named Ella.
Family woman. And a pet mom.
I'm a pet mom. I also put myself first. I'm really good at self-care and self-love. So it's important to me to balance everything that I have going on as well as my businesses. And to make sure that I'm prioritizing what I need to prioritize at that certain time. So I feel like when I left my 9-to-5 and that kind of already put me on the schedule. It was kind of like, okay, you got to wake up at 7. You got to be there at 8. You got to clock in at 8:30.
So that helped you?
No. It kind of helped me, but now I had all this time. And I get to wake up when I want to wake up. So it didn't really, like I had to apply self-discipline.
Find new structure.
And figure out, okay, when I wake up at 5, I'm better because I get to drink tea, I get to go for my walk, and then I can start at 6. You got to figure out what works for you and what time do you get the most things done, because now you're on your own time. But you're also going to work more because you're passionate about what you're doing. So you're going to work even longer and for longer hours.
9 to 5.
9 to 5
it's really not 9 to 5 because, but you have to learn when to stop to go cook dinner and when to stop when to feed the dog and when you have to balance it all. So I feel like I just had to really focus on my time schedule because there was no one clocking me. I was talking to myself. So it's important to create a schedule, stick to it, be very self-disciplined, and maybe write it out, post it, so everybody holds you accountable.
I like that idea. Like you said, writing it out and posting it also. Like I started doing that around my house, like because my daughter's 2 now, so we're doing like a daycare in home, like a parent, like you know what I'm saying. So like when we're gonna learn letters, shapes, and blocking out her schedule, and then I have to basically base my schedule now around her schedule, right? And it's just finding balance. And I think one of the things you said, which is that time management is something that you're gonna forever be working on as an entrepreneur, like time management, because your company is ever going to be evolving. Like right now, right now, like the average person, if you're trying to figure out how to balance like just yourself and running a company, eventually if you aim to expand, now you're having to manage yourself and your team in addition to your family. So time management is really important. Once you get that down though, once you can figure out what best works for you, I feel like you're off to the races at that point.
Absolutely.
What you thinking, Kleo?
Well, our story is a little similar. I would say time management is very, very important. Like my day, I would normally start off with my morning prayers, and then from there, I'm a full-time stepmom. So this
shout out to you.
So I just recently, it's been a lot of changes within my life itself. From working a 9 to 5, and I was like, okay, you know what, God, I'm just gonna focus on you and business. And of course, he sent me the right partner.
Yeah.
Boom, next thing you know, I got a stepson and I got like 2-3 businesses going.
That's
So it's a lot on my plate. At the same time, I find it's not as hard because I have the right team, and on top of that, I do have a schedule as well. Like, I'm very old school. Like I have a whole planner. I write it down. So that's been working for me so far.
I have planners.
Yeah, I have a lot of planners. We always buying some that we even needed.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, time management very, very important in anything actually you do. I would say it's very important.
Also, you want to like schedule out your day by minute. I know that sounds crazy and tedious, but you definitely want to do it per minute, because then you're going to be like spending too much time on one thing when you should be only checking emails for 30 minutes.
You know, it's crazy that you said that, because in one of my classes at Full Sail, basically they gave us like a account, like a time sheet, and the time sheet had from like 12 a.m. to midnight, and it's like 24 hours in a day, and they were like, well, we want you to write out like what you're spending your hours doing, down to like how long are you spending like washing your behind, like you know what I'm saying, like it, and then really like breaking that down was like an eye opener for me, because I was even looking at like, wow, okay, well, how much time am I spending with my kids within this time? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much time am I spending cooking? So I challenge you as an entrepreneur to really look at what your day-to-day looks like and use that as a way to block it out. Every day from this time to this time I'm going to make breakfast. This time I'm going to do lunch. This time I'm going to make dinner. This is the time I'm going to work on my business. This is the time I'm going to study. This is my family time. This is my me time. Once you can do that, you know what I'm saying? That time management, it kind of goes back to our time management, which is honestly everything when it comes to entrepreneurship, because it's all going to boil down to like, how are you spending your time? How are you utilizing the time that you have?
I would suggest you would take one day to really like look, just pretty much write down time to time what you're doing. Then take the next day to write down what you want to implement in that time. Then on that third day, you need to create a schedule. Like I spend way too much time on Instagram. So if you're taking out your time, you're going to realize, dang, I was on Instagram for 45 minutes, because when we're on Instagram, we're not looking at the time. But I'm just challenge you guys to really look at the time and spend the day just what you're doing from minute to minute, and then on that third day you should know, okay, I should only be on Instagram for 5 minutes.
You can actually put limits on it in your phone.
You can. What I have. Honestly, I have a 2-hour limit.
I have it too, and I actually have it on my computer as well, because we don't even think about it, but I work on my computer a lot, and oftentimes that Facebook browser pops open, and then I'll get that, you spent 2 hours on Facebook today, you're blocked out, and I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying, like, all right, get back on track.
Those are important things.
So, how do you ladies practice self-care? Like, if a woman was to come to you and be like, oh my God, like, what is your key for self-care? Like, what is something that you do, that you incorporate into your life every day, that you feel like, keeps you balanced? What would that be?
I like to get my hair done. I like to get my nails done.
I like
some clean time. I like every now and then. I know we work a lot. Yes. The goal is eventually to work 6 months throughout the year. That's my long-term goal.
I'm
6 months throughout the year, because I'm not trying to put so much. No, I'm not gonna do it.
Spend your whole life working.
No,
thing is financial freedom, and to get to a space where you don't have to work as hard. You still gonna put in some hours. We still have to work till we retire. But even, I don't know, like, if you notice, like, most people that retire, they still end up working.
Yeah, even
what am I supposed to do?
I traveled, I've done this, now what am I going to do?
Exactly.
So it's being in an industry that you're passionate about. You can always find something to do, even after you retire,
Because you're always going to want to elevate. So you're going to try to keep going to the next step, so you're going to look for something else to do.
That is true. But I like to vacation as well, so I know I'm going to be out there. Even though, I'm on vacation, I know my laptop going to be right next to me. So a lot of the time we say we're not going to do certain things when we are on vacation and doing whatever it is when it comes to self-care. But eventually, our babies, our businesses is like...
It's hard not to,
always
though.
Like that. Yep,
it's hard not to. Especially, like, for me, because I work so much on my computer, no matter where I go, like, I want to take my computer with me. So I literally challenge myself to leave my computer. Then I'd be upset.
Yep.
Then I'd be upset.
That's how I am. I'll be on vacation. I'm like, why did I leave my computer? I could be doing so much.
And then I'm on my phone trying to download other apps, like Excel spreadsheets on my phone. It's the worst.
That is
it's so bad.
Yep, absolutely. But for me, self-care, It didn't come easy because I had to realize what is self-care.
Yeah,
like what works for me when I'm stressed out and I have and I'm blocked. Like, what do you do to get unblocked?
Yeah.
And that's when I started, like, okay, I'm a morning person. I like walks.
Yeah.
I like to pray. I like to drink tea. So I was like, okay, that's what you need to do when you're like mentally just blocked.
Yep.
You need to wake up earlier, have that time for yourself, and get that in. So you want to really definitely recognize what is it that makes me feel happy, and what is it that I need to do for self-care, and implement that into your weekly schedule. So yeah, that's what pretty much I do for self-care. It's really easy, but and also getting my hair and nails done. That's self-care.
It is.
You feel different.
It is.
It's just a confident boost.
You do.
Yeah.
I feel like when you have your hair done, I feel like it just puts you in a state where it's like you just feel a little bit more confident. No matter how, like, because I know we always talk about like not always relying on, you know, like the outside and like I feel like the extra elements of like, you know, hair and nails and stuff like that, being comfortable in ourselves. Right. But, you know, sometimes it do feel good, like to just go out and get your hair done and get your nails done, like, and you realize if you haven't done it for a while, like how good it makes you feel when you start going back, right?
I remember I was at your women empowerment brunch, and the host, the pastor, when she was like, "Oh, you are your brand.
Yes, you are.
You need to carry yourself everywhere you go. You're your brand, and people are going to look at you like, wow, you know, who are you? They want to get to know you, and you can network that way." And I started using that excuse, girl.
Yeah.
So like now, my hair not done. I'm like, I'm my brand. I gotta get my hair done. I gotta represent. Like, I gotta do what else. I gotta represent. So yeah, you definitely gotta represent your business, and it's gonna give you a confident boost. So yeah.
Another thing I would add to self-care is I know that we all do a lot of different things. Trying to find a hobby, something that you actually enjoy doing. Like me, I'm a plant mom. I have a dog as well, so Chanel, she's like my little.
Oh yeah, how you putting in work? Plants and pets.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, just finding a hobby, something that you actually enjoy doing.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit about self-investments. I know we only have a little bit of time, but you know, each Wednesday we do, you know, drop kind of like wealth gems, and we like to just steer people in the right direction as far as in like, it doesn't matter where you're at in your business. A lot of the times, you know, we can always take a step back, like, right? For instance, like some companies have been in business for 4 or 5 years, and you think that they're operating at a profit. They're actually operating, you know, at a deficit, and they don't even have a business plan, so they don't even really know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And it sounds crazy, but I've worked with brick and mortar companies, you know, that are down the street that have been in that same position, and it's kind of like, you know, all right, let's sit down, let's figure this out. Because we got to figure out where you're going, what you're doing, and how you're ultimately going to make profit. Because a lot of the times in the beginning, we're self-funding our businesses, and we're not realizing how much money we're losing, right? But it's not really a loss, right? If you're investing it in yourself the right way. And it looks different for everybody. So what are like some of the ways that you invested in yourself and your business that you felt like set you apart from other business owners?
With me personally, okay, for example, I'm just gonna use this as an example. With Cleo's Kitchen, like that's its own brand, and with the brunch, that's just something I added to Cleo's Kitchen. So as Cleo's Kitchen is doing well, what I would do, I'll just put a little bit aside, because right now with the brunch, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, it's like my Instagram. It's my opportunity to promote myself, for you to come out, have fun, network, and try my food. And a lot of the times, I end up getting a lot more clients just from doing that. So it's like my own way of marketing. So I'll just get a little piece from Cleo's Kitchen and put that to the side. Hey, this is for the brunch at Metro West for next month. Until they start doing like its own thing. But that's what I do.
I like that.
I also feel like one investment is kind of like what you said, Kleo, but what I do is like I'll plan some community events with the nonprofit as well as Serenity Design events. So that way I can show people, hey, I know how to plan an event. 2, I put something on for the community. And 3, like this is what I do. It's pretty much like broadcasting myself. So not only did I do something for the community, I'm also also able to market.
Yeah.
So I think it was
getting the word
that's
out.
right. So I don't care how much those events cost me, because I'm like, okay, I'm planning my own event, bringing my own people out, and that way I can introduce myself, network, get other people in the room. So that's kind of like an investment that I do for myself as well.
It's a major investment.
Right. So I have Mommy and Me Yoga coming up this weekend, October 8th actually. So yeah, it's just a way to like kind of be like, okay, I planned this event, and this is also what I'm standing for: women, mothers who are entrepreneurship, but pretty much spend time with the little ones.
I like the fact that you both mentioned like different tactics of marketing, because a lot of times people say, okay, well, I'm running social media ads, and some people, well, that's cool and all. Social media is cool, but it's like, so it's about a healthy mix of marketing though. So you have to be out in the community doing the work, and that actual like verbal engagement spikes your social media engagement. Like, and they really fall hand in hand. So as you're continuing to do events and you're continuing to network with people and meet people, you'll get new followers. You start to get more engagement, and it starts to go up over time.
And it's content.
And it's content. You know what I'm saying? But it takes the investment in the long run. You don't. It's hard not to get deterred in the early stages. Exactly. But it plays off really well. And I'm just saying this from experience, because literally how I built Sis. That's literally how I built Sis. Basically just built off of community, off of doing events. Obviously having my network from my company, OC Business Development, which is all people who were starting businesses, right? So it was a great network to start it off of. But as far as in building a community brand, it's through presence, and through presence is through giving back and pouring into your community.
Absolutely.
Speaking of community, I actually have 2 events that I wanted to share
Let's
with you
talk
guys.
about it.
Okay, so I have myself and my sister Desiree and Miss Michelle. We have partnered up for the next brunch, which is October 9th, and that one is a breast cancer awareness one. That one is close to home, so we are collecting any donation. I'm gonna actually give her the information and put it on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put it in the link below. Yes, we can get the word out for certain.
And I also actually, in November, I have one of my favorites. You guys, I love giving back to the community. When I say I love it, it's just a different feeling.
Yeah, it is.
For my birthday, I think it was last year, if not the year before, I fed the less fortunate, and it was like the biggest, like, it was just so heartfelt. It was just like, I couldn't describe it, but anyways, I had this older lady that was there, and I remember her giving me $10, and I was like, wow, you really want to give me $10? That moment stayed with me. It will stay with me for the rest of my life, because I'm like, wow, you want to give me this $10? Of course, I didn't take it. I gave it back to her. I prayed on it, so hopefully she's out there rich somewhere. But for November, I am doing it again. I am feeding the less fortunate, and this time I'm doing it a little bit differently. Since it is about to be winter season, so I want to collect as much as possible to get them ready for the winter. Yeah, so if you guys want to donate anything towards this event, I would appreciate it, from socks to hats, blankets, anything like that. So I'll drop that information as well.
Absolutely.
I love that. So absolutely. I'll also give you the link for the
Mommy and Me Yoga.
It's the same weekend at the brunch. So after you do the Mommy and Me Yoga, I want to see you at the brunch. So yeah, definitely. I'll give that to you as well.
I got you, ladies, for certain. It's been so amazing talking with you all. What I do want to do is I want to leave our listeners and our viewers with a couple takeaways before we close out. So we do know that starting a business on your own comes with a lot of risk and sacrifices. It's really a matter of prioritizing what your goals are and putting your best foot forward in all that you do. So here are a few steps for someone who's looking to start a business and you haven't started a business yet. You're still trying to figure it out, right? So a couple of things that you definitely want to do before you start a business is you want to do your market research. You need to understand the industry that you're going into. You need to understand your competitors. You need to understand, you just really need to understand like how much it's going to take to operate within that field. You need to understand what licenses, what permits you need. Do your market research first before you start the business.
And find your niche.
Find your niche,
whatever it is that you...
What you're good at doing, something that that you're not going to get tired of doing in a couple of weeks. But it takes trial and error. The next thing I would say is secure your startup funds. So whether you're investing, out of your own, your own paycheck, or you're doing a fundraising, your seed raising, you have a GoFundMe account, you're using your credit cards, just figure it out understand what your budget is for starting and really utilize those funds to the best of your ability, keeping your team small and starting out. To be honest, that's the best way to ultimately see, you know, the fastest return on investment is to keep your investment small in the beginning, if you can. Some things you can't. If you're investing in a tech company, expect to be coming out thousands of dollars.
Right.
But it's not hard, and there are investors out there. There are VCs, there are angel investors, and we'll get into that later. Another thing that you're going to want to do is build a solid online presence and brand yourself. Branding is everything. Branding is what makes you a household name. Branding is what takes people from just a one-time interaction to I'm remembering you weeks and weeks later. You know, like that's the impression that brings a return customer, client, event attendee. Go ahead, Kleo.
I just want to add this.
I gotta add something too.
Yeah.
Okay.
To add on to that, be nice to your customers, please.
Please,
Be nice to your
yes,
clients, because you gotta remember at the end of the day, you are building your brand, and those relationships, they matter.
Right.
Like one of my models is like, I want better than Chick-fil-A. Like I know Chick-fil-A is out there, like they're doing their thing, but Cleo's Kitchen better than Chick-fil-A. That's the kind of service I want. And
Okay.
no, seriously, because my business, it runs off word of mouth. Like it's
Right.
either you had my cooking or you love my cooking and my customer service.
Like you can add policies, but if you could take that person, go ahead and take them. You know what I'm saying? It's not, I'm not going against your policies and regulations, or, you know, we'll put in that extra time. But that customer service will have them talking a long way. They'll be talking forever. You know what I'm saying?
It's the best form of marketing.
It really is.
It is. You know, we love ads, we love online marketing,
It
but
really is.
your customers will take you the farthest because they're going to tell people about you, and that trickle effect, you know.
Right. And it's
I
also,
barely
Once you poison the water, man, forget about it.
yeah, like it's gonna go on forever. But you also want to create a brand that's authentically you, because
Yes.
it'll be so
You.
easy to market.
Mhm.
Like if you know your favorite color is teal and what it represents, then go ahead and use that as your branding color, because you're gonna always go towards it.
Yep,
So
it's easy.
It's easy. It's gonna be easy to talk about. It's gonna be easy to market. It's gonna be easy to brand. It's gonna be
I
easy
agree.
to come up with content. So you want to pretty much identify yourself and then implement that into your brand. So
Y'all
let's
hear
talk
these
about
gems, y'all?
Be you,
We
be
got
you.
dropping. The last one I was gonna say is just know who and when to hire. A lot of the times we spend money in our budget in places that we don't need to. Like if you're just starting out, you don't need to hire a social media manager. Probably you can probably manage, you know, a couple of posts a week to get that engagement up. But obviously, like once you're booked and you're busy, then you want to invest in a social media manager because it frees up your time. But knowing when and who to hire is key, right? We're talking about social media management. That could be anything from when to hire an assistant, right?
I feel like I'm at that point. I need one.
When do you hire an assistant? You know, it's easier said than done, you know. But identifying where you're at in business, identifying what your current goals are, identifying how much time you have, that's really a starting point to then determine, okay, who are the individuals I'm going to need on my team? And when am I going to establish these goals, right? So I might give myself a goal like, okay, within the next 6 months, I need an assistant. After I hire an assistant, I need a customer service rep. And that's going to be my, you know, my goal for the next 6 to 9 months. But if you set these goals and you make them attainable, it sets you up for success ultimately, because now you have something that you're working towards versus saying, I'm hiring an assistant one day. You know, one day we'll get customer service. But meanwhile, you got people emailing you, and you're not able to respond to everybody's emails because you don't have the time. That's a good indication of it's time to hire an assistant. If you are not able to respond to like all your client inquiries, if you're going too long, you know, without getting back to people, you know, if I have to wait 2 weeks for a quote from you, get an assistant.
You definitely want to pay attention to that.
If I hire you and it takes you more than a month to get that content back to me, and we are in a society where it's fast-paced content, you probably need an assistant. But those are the wealth gems for this week when it comes to like self-investment and really, you know, getting into business and branding. Ladies, before we close out, is there anything you want to leave the Wealthy Sis community with?
I would say just be yourself. rather if you're starting a business, you've been doing this for years, just be yourself. If you have to like go back and rebrand yourself, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with
There is nothing wrong with
I've
that.
rebranded 2 times.
In
My personal company, because I mean my company is 8 years old, so it's like my first logo. If you would have seen it today, you would have been like, "Oh, see," you know. Over time, you know, you evolve. Times change.
Yeah, and as you go as well, like you could always add on to like once your business start progressing and stuff like that, you could always add on. Like for example, in Cleo's Kitchen, yes, I do cooking. At the same time, I'm passionate about a lot of different things. I like to decorate tables. I have a whole team on. Like from DJs, I have the vendors. So if you are looking to do any of that, I want to make sure that you don't have to worry about the headaches or any of that comes along. So
Don't sell your social.
She's part of my vendors list.
I feel like you want to definitely take care of yourself so that you can take care of your business. That's my journey. Like you want to make sure that you are healthy inside and out so that you can pour out positive energy to your clients, because if you're not feeling well, you're not mentally there, you're not going to be able to pour into your business or come with your best foot forward.
It's a ripple effect.
It's a ripple effect.
Energy transfers.
Absolutely. Yes. So you want to make sure that you are taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and then once you can do that and have that under control, then you want to go ahead and pour that into your business, because it will go straight in there. You'll be looking crazy. So definitely, that's my journey. I want to tell everyone. So yeah, that's it.
I love it. I love it. Well, in the words of Tyler Perry, share wisdom. What? He didn't say that. Tyler Perry looking at us like, what's she doing? Like I was saying, in the words of Tyler Perry, share wisdom with all those who will receive it. And that's what we are here for at SIS. We're here to share wisdom with those that are willing to listen. And you ladies, please continue to do that, because by sharing your story, you are motivating, inspiring, empowering other women to do the same. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the Wealthy Sis podcast. You can stream it on all of your streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Play, I don't know, all of them. They're there, the Wealthy Sis podcast. We also just launched the Sis University podcast, which is on Wealthy Sis, and that'll basically be like a mini business development series. So we're taking people through like the steps of launching a business and all of the things that you should be focusing on as you're building out your business. So even if you're currently in business, tap in with the podcast, because there's definitely some gems to be found there. Let's see, what do we have coming up? The Executive Brunch and Finance is coming up. That is part of our Wealthy Sis weekend, January 27th to the 29th.
Yeah,
can't wait.
The Wealthy Sis experience is going to be so lit. I'm really excited about that. More details to come. More to come. We don't got time, but more to come. But, you know, I just want to thank you all again for tuning in with us, for the support. It's been amazing. More to come. Shout out to you all. Thank you, ladies.
Thank
so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
This was fun.
Yes.
Y'all look so good.
Yeah, a lot of editing to do.
Yeah.